Hey, Martin County, welcome back. We wanted to share some thoughts we've had collectively as individuals, of course, here within the TAM Nation about a few different things going on in Indiantown. And I know, don't tune out, Martin County, because what happens here is going to and already has affected you in great length. So just stick with me for a minute here. We, we've been doing some critical thinking, and there's a couple of things that just don't add up for us. The lack of campaign effort on the Dowling and Clark campaigns is underwhelming. Lack of funds coming in for the Anthony Dowling campaign, completely underwhelming. 5 donations, I think, in total, maybe 6, one of them local. Not for that much to begin with. The rest, he only has under $1,000. He's an incumbent. He's supposed to have all these great ideas. Hang with me, though, for a second. Well, and there's his signs. He's not. I mean, just the underwhelming amount of campaign effort on his part, on Jackie Clark's part. And why do I say that? Well, they're gone this week. Do you know that? They're going to a Diamonds gala, Diamonds and Tuxedo gala for the Florida League of Cities. They bought their tickets to it, as we're told. Maybe it's open invitation, but they're not going for free. You're paying for their room. You're paying for their board. Room and board. You're paying for everything that goes along with this, except for maybe the new gown that Miss Clark just purchased. Anyway, that's what I mean by underwhelming campaign effort. And it made us think, how can they be so confident that their opposition isn't strong enough in the eyes of the voter and isn't talking a persuasive enough game to make the voter want to vote them out? That's pretty cocky. But then we begin to think back on a couple of different things. And here's where critical thinking is really nice. If you look back to the last election, it was just days before the actual final election date, the voting date. And what happened? Well, then candidate Guy Parker was absolutely lambasted online with false advertising saying that he was a member of the KKK, a white supremacist. They showed him with rebel flags and all sorts of stuff. It was photoshopped and made up. Anyone that looks at it knows it, and it's pretty much been determined after the fact that it was done by a person called Robert Burns Jr., who is a cousin to Mr. Kenny Johnson, a convicted pedophile and friend of Anthony Dowling's. Now, we've demonstrated this over and over. We've told you about this relationship, so I'm not going to go any deeper, but what's important is this. Let's draw these two things together. Why is the crew not campaigning, and what happened last time? Well, a couple of things strike us. Currently, Anthony has less than $1,000 in his political campaign fund, and all but one donation has come from out of the county. It's not showing too much strong support. So why leave for a week when it looks like, hey, man, you could be losing your seat? Pretty cocky. Same with Jackie. Why do you leave for a week with Janet and Guyton and go down to the Florida League of Cities to their Diamonds and Tuxedo gala buying new gowns if you're in the middle of a campaign and you're all spending taxpayer dollars on top end hotels, great dining, wonderful nightlife, wearing your new gown? I mean, come on. So think about this for a second. Not that what you're doing is wrong. I mean, every politician well, not every. Miss Susan Gibbs Thomas stayed home. She decided not to spend the taxpayers' money and go down to this while she was invited as well. Anyway, back to the campaign and last year. So what happened last year? Well, there was desperation in the campaigns last year. They knew that they were in trouble because Guy Parker was by far a better candidate than was Anthony Dowling. That was, or I'm sorry, Guyton Stone. Well, and Anthony Dowling, but Guy was running against Guyton Stone. Guyton, as we say, Weekend at Bernie's Stone. Man, if he ever comes up with an original answer here in the near future, I'll be surprised. Anyway, Guyton hired Robert Burns Jr., the convicted rapist. Yeah, the convicted rapist and cousin to the convicted pedophile Kenny Johnson, who's really good friends with Anthony Dowling. So, what did they do? Well, just days before the election, they ran a bunch of just racist attack ads that were calling Guy Parker anything but a nice guy. They were calling him a white supremacist, a KKK member. They were trumping up and making false allegations that, you know what, the Parker campaign had no time to prove otherwise. The election was just in hours, days away, hours, count them, 72 or less. Now, this kind of scandal just before is enough to have turned the election for about 20 some votes that guy lost by. Think about that for a minute. And think about what's going on now in this election. So we're putting out a little bit of advance warning, a TAM alert. Keep your eyes open. We have enough experience within the political markets and the political arena to see this one coming. And I'm telling you, when they bring it, they're going to bring some of the most salacious crap that you have ever heard. And it will most likely, in all instances, be false because they can't run on their record. They can't run on their reputation. They can't run on anything but making you believe that the other guy is worse. So don't fall for it. Listen, Martin County, you need to keep track of what's going on in Indiantown and wish them luck out there because as they go, whoo, Western County's going to go the way of Stewart, and you'll have high rises out here before you know it. It's going to get ugly. It ain't going to be good, and we're going to make our prediction and stick to it. Now, after the fact, if we're wrong, we're wrong. I will be more than happy to say we were wrong, and I hope we're wrong, but prove me wrong and watch what happens with the Clark, Rosada, and Dowling campaigns as they try last minute smear jobs that are going to be unsubstantiated, unprovable, absolutely false, and sad. Nomo out.